I put a book together and published it in 2020 called The 4% Breakthrough. And there's 3 sections, 3 steps. So the first is really going introspective and deciding what's most important to you and doing some real thought exercises. And then secondly, it's the business fundamentals. And then lastly, it's integrating physical and mental health into that, which was mental health, nutrition, sleep, exercise, and posture. So yeah, that was my cut at really trying to get it right. Because number one, knowing what's most important in my life, I wasn't clear enough. Like step 1, chapter 1 of the book, knowing my priorities, knowing my mission, knowing my core. If I really would have had my health and family, maybe I would have made less extreme sacrifices rather than going back to work day 2. Would that really have made a difference, with my first child? Probably not. We would have probably still survived. And even Jodi trying to work with, a knee swollen like a balloon, when she could barely walk, and trying to treat physical therapy patients, we probably made some sacrifices that, weren't looking through some of those more important lenses and that weren't necessary.
Yeah. What were some of the clues, if you looked back on it, before you got to the 80 hours of work a week and starting to get sick? What were some of those clues that somebody else might be experiencing right now to be able to say, okay, really now's the time. I need to start figuring this out?
Yeah, great question. I think some things would be not having enough pleasure. So it's what I call no life syndrome. Right? If you're not getting time for yourself, if you're not getting any exercise, if you're not able to sit down and have a meal, if you're not sleeping well sometimes. Someone just asked me this week, they're starting to have some disturbed sleep and asked me why that's recommendations. It's not a product problem for them yet, but that is an early warning indicator. So if you pay attention to some of those things, take some action, make some improvement, because you want to recognize some of those flags before they become a bigger problem. And for me, my digestive system, my GI system stopped working. So I was rendered helpless at that point because I ignored it. So I couldn't eat. I was either in the bathroom or embarrassingly running to the bathroom. And that doesn't go well when you're treating patients, right?
Yeah.
You're meant to be helping them with their health. And even supporting our team. I can remember our July 2011 whole team meeting when I was standing in front of 25 people, including summer interns, and I barely had enough energy to stand, and my joints were aching because I didn't have nutrition. So don't let it get to an extreme. Take care of yourself along the way.
Yeah, I typically, and I've been harassed about this and haven't changed it yet, but I almost always say that my priorities in life are God, my wife, and then my kids, right? Everything else comes after that, my business, everything else. And they're like, well, a few people have been like, where are you on that, right? Because if you're not taking care of you, then you're not going to be able to do those things, and try to implement, try to be the best you can, show up to be the best you can for your wife and kids. And that is one thing that I noticed, even in the military. When does my dog want to come in and harass me while I'm on a podcast? I don't. So I keep the dog treats right here, just in case,
nice.
just in case. I can give him the spicy beef jerky. He'll definitely leave me alone after that. So, but that'll have the issue that you were talking about with the bowel issues.
Yeah.
So, but we don't need that in the house. But like in the military, I was constantly gone. I was getting worked like crazy. I was in some training, and one of the guys was like, look, one thing that we tend to do as leaders is find the person who is a really good worker, like the best horse we have, and ride them until they die. Right. And that's not a great place to be. And as entrepreneurs, we tend to do that to ourselves. Like, we're like, nope, let's go. We're going to just go and go and go and go and go until we just can't go any further. Well, at that point, you are you're a sack of potatoes for your family and your business. Like you're not, I don't want to use the word worthless, because you're not worthless, but boy, are you worth a whole lot less than you were, and it's like, you got to catch on to those signs. Anybody that's listening, catch on to those signs. One book I really loved is Who Not How. And there was another one, Buy Back Your Time, that I recently listened to. Boy, that was phenomenal too. Really enjoyed listening to that. Talking about buying back a lot of those moments that you need, like that you're wasting your time doing a bunch of different stuff, so you can really focus on your core being and what you want to be doing. So that being said, I want to fast forward now. Like you are teaching and coaching folks on how to kind of work through these moments. You're sitting up in the owner's box and you're in your practice. You're really kind of overseeing, making sure that's all running the way it needs to be. And now you're like really engaged in trying to help other entrepreneurs find out even where the owner's box is. It may not even be built yet for them to sit in. So kind of talk me through that process and what it is that you do there.
Yeah. So the one chapter that I didn't mention, and it's a little bit of mixed feelings on this, probably as most founders do. So we powered through the pandemic. And then in 2021, a company that partnered with private equity approached our CEO, who was the CEO, and they wanted to meet with us. And Jodi and I agreed to meet. And if we were going to share financials, we just asked them to come with something specific. So we didn't go down a rabbit hole of resources. And they made an outrageous offer. And it's always best to be in a position where you're not looking for opportunities like this or to sell, to exit. Our partners saw this as the best path forward. So we did partner with this company in 2021, November 2021. And then that was a whole new thing. And that was my first 8-figure company that I was able to coach as part of the deal. I was coaching the CEO and the regional director. So I was able to I was in the owner hunt, and then also my new company actually coaching the organization. So it was a fun dynamic, really great. I had a blast. We had a lot of success, a lot of growth. I mean, breakthrough. We kept our own name, our offices. We immediately went to 6 offices, and then we acquired another company and we went to 12 locations. So, a lot of exciting things happening, and fun to be involved supporting, everyone. And then the next private equity company came and we had a recapitalization just in October of 2023. So, more than likely, Jodi and I, we were certainly cashed out of the business. There may be some equity opportunities for us that are still available. We've actually recommended that because we still live in town and, a really big part of the community and still more or less the face of the businesses. And so anyway, just, FYI on that. So not necessarily. I was in that owner's box up until recently with our first company. And so now with coaching, I realized I wanted to spend, have the most fun helping other entrepreneurs and just paying all the lessons forward. So definitely wearing, most of the hats with the new company.
Yeah. That's awesome. The joy for me, I absolutely love coaching. It's just a lot of fun to be able to watch people get the ahas and see, watch them skip steps that you totally tripped over and see kind of how the impact can actually be made. It's so much fun to be able to do all of that. It is a lot of fun. That's a field I love to be on. So I'm completely with you there. What kind of companies are you kind of working with right now? And what are you, especially right now, seeing with some of these businesses? Well, let me just start with the companies because it may change the direction. What kind of companies are you typically working with right now?
Yeah, the way I approached it, up until recently, I took the hardest path and, didn't want to support physical therapy companies because I didn't want to compete with ourselves, which may make sense. But I love helping healthcare companies and healthcare organizations, obviously, and I've got a passion for that. And even I would love to see healthcare get a lot better. So I've got several physicians and even a functional medicine doctor that I've just started helping in the last week. And I've got several financial planners that I'm helping. So those are the two kind of niches. But other than that, it's really been owners of 6-figure companies that want to hit 7 figures, who are seeing some early warning signs of stress, not handling it well, and who want to get paid, have a healthy lifestyle, and get paid for the roles they have and a double-digit profitability beyond that, and create a company that they can keep, right? Take on partners and have some legacy, or that is a valuable asset that they could decide to sell for a premium. So I've kind of been industry agnostic and going that way, but a couple industries are starting to emerge that I'm having fun with.
Nice. Yeah, the financial planning and all of that was one of the. I almost became a financial planner for a little while. Once it's funny because I was a paycheck to paycheck guy who had no idea even what a savings account was till I married my wife, and then all of a sudden I'm like, dude, I should totally be a financial planner. Those two don't really marry, but it did because I went through and got a bunch of education. I went through and tried to do all that, and it's such a different world. But I looked at that as not a business but a service, and ended up going a different direction. But that was ignorance on my part by not knowing how you can make everything a business. And it's
right.
If you look at it properly and you put the right people in place and the right strategy in place, everything is a business, not just a service.